Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Suburban Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, and Cablevision of Warwick, and posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, the Township Library, and all district schools. Mrs. Francisco, roll call.
Mrs. Romeo.
Here.
Mrs. Stevenson.
Here.
Mr. Conklin.
Here.
Mrs. Dwyer. Here. Mr. Guarino.
Here.
Mrs. Fritz.
Here.
Mr. Oshinsky.
Here.
Mr. Stillman.
Here.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Here. Dr. Annemone, your report?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our January regular meeting. I'm going to start off by giving the microphone to Mr. Renner, our student representative.
All right. Good evening, everyone. The district is busy this month, and that trend continues as we approach the month of February. West Milford students are always looking for ways to give back to those in need. For example, on January 14th to February 14th, each department is collecting donations to donate to local food pantries, or to local pantries, in a fundraiser called Fill the Bus, in which they are looking to fill an entire school bus of things to donate to the pantries. In addition, McApin's annual Give a Goat Night is coming up on January 31st, where students get to watch teachers compete in a series of events, and the proceeds they make from the event are donated to buy goats to help support villages around the world. Also, art classes are getting ready for the Empty Bowls event, which is happening in March. On January 22nd, West Milford High School hosted the Winter Open Mic Night in the lower library, where students and staff were able to recite poetry, sing, and play an instrument in front of an audience. On January 31st, the ASVAB test will be administered to the high school students willing to take it. In addition, on February 12th, the Guidance Department will be hosting a college panel night, where students will get to listen to college admissions advisors who will be talking about the admissions process and what makes a great applicant. Also, the parent portal is open for students to pick their classes for the next school year. Our winter sports athletes are doing great during their season. In girls basketball, Ashley Jacobs reached a career high of 26 points and 15 rebounds, which puts her in the top 5 in regards to most points scored in a game in the history of the program. The bowling team is doing great with a nearly undefeated season. On January 25th, West Milford High School hosted the Passaic County Wrestling Tournament, in which Josh Gerbing won 3rd place in. The boys and girls fencing teams are doing great in their meets, with multiple athletes still going undefeated. The boys and girls swim teams are also doing a great job in their season. And on January 18th, West Milford Indoor Color Guard hosted a competition at West Milford High School, where multiple groups performed, and last weekend they achieved 1st place in their first competition of the season. On January 8th, TECA attended their annual district competition at Ramapo College, in which Rebecca Benowitz, Faith MacArthur, and Raina Singleton all placed top in their events and qualified for the state competition. Are there any questions?
What is the date for the empty bowls? Do you know that?
I do not know that. I think it's in March.
I know
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. Monthly progress towards district goals. On the agenda tonight, we will be hiring, or hopefully be hiring 2 teachers called intervention specialists. These spots will be paid for with title funds, and there's one for Upper Greenwood Lake and one for Marshall Hill. These are 2 teachers that we're hiring for a short period of time between now and the state test in April. They will be working dedicated with our, what we call bubble kids, or kids who are on the cusp of passing or failing the state test. We have a lot of data that we've gathered this year through our STAR math assessments, report cards, linked data assessments, and they should have a lot of data walking in the door. They really won't need any time to, they'll have to get to know the kids, but they will know the kids academically because they'll be handed a portfolio when they walk in the door. These are your students, these are where their strong, this is where they're very weak. And you have 8 weeks or so to bring them up to where we want them to be. So that's thank you for your support. That's always a nice item that Mr. Novak puts together. After school sports and special event security, we've been spending a lot of time, we've invested a lot of time and money in our security updates over the past couple of years, some of which we have talked about very openly, other things we've discussed behind closed doors due to the sensitive nature of that. But we had a few administrators attending the past couple of weeks a seminar statewide about after-school sports and special event security. So much of what we do is during the school day, how do we have a lockdown, how do we have a shelter in place, what do we do with students when they're at recess or phys ed class, but very little is talked about after school hours. And we still have a lot of school events going on, in particular at the high school. So we are planning with our athletic department and high school administration a school security event at an upcoming athletic event, date and time to be determined. So we're going to basically drill at one of our games. Or after halftime, something along those lines. We're still working out the kinks, but that is coming down the road. The more you train, the better off you are. So more to follow on that. Maximum transition update. Our Maximum team has been working on the schedule. We discussed in December, we had a PowerPoint that looked something like this. I just updated it now. There was a concern that the 6th grade lunch was originally scheduled for a 6th period. There was some feedback that even though it's only 12:30 in the afternoon, the kids are up so early in the morning to get the bus that it's a long time for their lunch. So it's not finalized yet, but the new tentative schedule is in front of you here. It swaps out the 6th grade lunch from 6th period to 4th period, which is a little earlier than lunchtime, but it's probably 10:15-ish, 10:20 maybe, so it's a little early, but it's probably better than it's a little too late. So this is the newest tentative schedule for Maxton. Has not been finalized yet, but we hope to have it finalized shortly. And lastly, we have a nice number of people coming here tonight. Thank you all for coming. I know it's a busy time of year for everybody. But every year we give a major state assessment. It used to be called the NJS. After that it was called the PARC. Last year we gave for the first time something called the NJSLA, the Student Learning Assessment. This is a state exam that basically mimics the PARC, and we use it in New Jersey only. The PARC was a national assessment. New Jersey pulled itself out of that national testing consortium, and they now administer the NJSLA. It's a test that's very rigorous. It really tracks the PARC exam in so many ways. So it's a different acronym, but it's a very simple, very similar test. So we do have a nice quote here from Vince Lombardi. It says, "Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence." And what we have here tonight is some students who caught that perfection. They took the NJSLA last year in math and English, and they received a perfect score of 850 on one or the other. So we have some certificates for them here. Mr. Novak will be over here. I'm going to call the students up. If they can come up to Mr. Novak, get your certificate. Mom and dads, feel free to jump in this little well over here if you want to get a photo. We'll try to move as slowly as we can. Arden Edelstein, perfect score, English Language Arts.
Good job.
Lauren Harmon, perfect score, mathematics. David Van Tassel, perfect score, mathematics. Lucas Cardona, perfect score, English Language Arts. Congratulations. Megan Seidner, perfect score, English Language Arts. Sierra Dages, perfect score, English Language Arts. Amanda Della Giacomo, perfect score, ELA. Nadia Felipe, perfect score, ELA. Connor Gargiulo, perfect score, ELA. Matthew Landeline, perfect score, ELA. Sarah Pilar, perfect score, ELA. Sarah Chandler, perfect score, ELA. Diana Hazen, perfect score, ELA. Ryan Humble, perfect score, ELA. Riley Lane, perfect score, ELA. Leah Payne, perfect score, ELA. Tori Roberto, perfect score, ELA. Maya Rovny, perfect score, ELA. That was all. Thank you very much. I know we had some youth sports tonight. Some of our high schoolers couldn't make it, but congratulations to everybody. I hope to see you here again next year.
Congratulations to all of you. You should all be very, very proud of yourself. Mr. Novak?
Thank you. You on?
No, you don't have to stay.
Hi, welcome. Congrats.
Take care. Great job.
Impressive.
Absolutely.
And we're back to nobody here.
Just sour. There you go. You go keep there. I will. Bye.
All right, I'm gonna proceed. All good? Okay, sorry, I know we have a report coming, so I'm gonna be brief. I just want to comment briefly on. We've talked a lot about the Macabin transition. One of the areas that we were, I guess, very excited about that didn't always come to the forefront was how we are going to work to enhance our kindergarten through fifth grade environment. The K-5 schools now having the opportunity to move our sixth grade to the middle school. So just a number of processes in place. One of those enhancements that we foresee is the ability to reorganize and, I guess, expand upon our Encore program, which for lack of a better term, it's our basic skills program. We call it Encore here in West Milford. I know that's not typically how it's named in other places. So currently, we have a process where our Encore teacher is either a full-time teacher in our schools that are eligible for title funds, and we have a 0.5 or half-time teacher in our schools that are not eligible for title funds. We're going to be able to maximize more on their time, removing an entire grade level. We are in the process of looking at those schedules and really taking this moment to capitalize on the work we've done. As Dr. Animal mentioned earlier, resources such as Star Math and Link It, we can greater target those standards that we find to be in need at a particular grade level or a particular group of students during those time periods. So we see Encore as being greatly enhanced. We had an opportunity to work with our Learning Unlimited teacher, who is named Julie Cheshire. She works at the Marshall Hill School, and she currently services students in grades kindergarten through 6. She works explicitly with students in grades 2 through 6. She is going to remain in the K-5 setting and be able to service more students, expand to lower grade levels, so we can have a more involved process in grades 1 and 2 than we have had in the past. So we're also working with the Macoupin process to make sure that there are enrichment opportunities and greater offerings for enrichment and differentiated opportunities in the middle school for those sixth graders as they come in. They're going to be able to choose from a number of electives that they don't currently have access to in the elementary school. So we see that as a great enhancement for our LU students. We are also in the process of looking at our K-5 report card. This presents an opportunity for us again to take a look at what a K-5 climate looks like. It was always challenging for us to have a report card that met the needs of a first grader while also meeting the needs of a sixth grader. So our report card committee met about 2 weeks ago. We have a follow-up meeting in place. One, to adjust the sixth grade report card to be reflective of their move over to Macoupin, and then to take a closer look at our K-5 report card to make sure that we are doing all the things that we should be doing for the traditional K-5 environment. There's a number of other discussions going on, so that's really what the overall message that I want to, share with you tonight is that we're, one of the comments or concerns leading up to the decision and the vote was, are we ready? Will we be there? And, I can say with tremendous confidence that we're on our way. And those really deep conversations are already happening. Those committees are being scheduled. At the February board meeting, hopefully for personnel and education, we'll be able to present our curriculum plans for revision for looking at, how we adjust sixth grade, how we adjust K-5 based on this move. So hopefully in February we'll be able to get that approved so our teachers can start working. We've had some preliminary meetings with the teachers who are potentially moving to Macoupin. So we've been able to, kind of get that, set that tone and have Mr. Stryans meet them and welcome them to Macoupin, and then take a look how that moves forward. Shifting away from that, I just also wanted to round back to the discussion of fingertip reports, which is a item I talked about in Link It that we are looking to send home with this second marking period report card. The first, on Monday, we'll be sending our paper report cards home, K6. That will be inclusive of Star Math reports and our Link It fingertip report, which is going to compare the Link It benchmark assessment A with Link It benchmark assessment B, which is our standards-based assessment that we've been talking a lot about here. So I'm excited to send that home and give our parents a glimpse at the things that our staff are looking at a lot lately, looking at in their PLC meetings, faculty meetings, and just how they guide instruction. And that's it.
think you wanted me to comment on the social.
Oh, I'm sorry. And also, one of the other things, coming back to the, looking at K-5, we are also looking at how we are able to reorganize and capitalize on our current counseling environment now that we have, an entire grade level being removed, more time in their schedules, and being able to really meet the needs of a K-5 school.
Right, so we are, at the presentation in December, we mentioned about some of the things we were gonna be doing to restructure the counseling and mental health providers. So the main thing is that we are not touching at the elementary level those social workers that are our school social workers on the gen ed side that also service the special education students. We are not planning to move any of them to the middle school so they will have a decrease in their load, which we talked about. So some of the things that we're planning for to be able to, they will be able to use their time better is in the area of running more counseling groups, having more structured groups that are proactive by grade level. So the best way to say it is that all grades will be touched, all students will be touched, all needs will be able to be addressed, whereas right now with, if you're decreasing by 100 students roughly per caseload, they should have more time to be able to run those groups more consistently. We also plan to have them involved in INRS more readily. This way they are a big part of that, so we're still meeting with principals on what that's gonna look like. We hope to run school-wide workshops and some trainings for different teachers at different times to be able to get the word out about mental health and, screening for students and that type of thing. We hope to run more social skills. Right now they have added friendship groups, stress management, mindfulness, coping skills, lunch bunches, organizational skills. We're hoping to increase with executive functioning skills in certain groups. But these groups will be able to now be run consistently so that what we're hoping to do is that if PK has a specific group, it will also be offered at, let's say, a Westbrook and a Maple Road. This way we're running these lessons, if you will, in the classroom, pushed in, recess, lunch, but it will be consistent so that all students have access. Because I think we've been a little inconsistent depending on the needs and who was being pulled in certain directions.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so that's the plan, but we're still in tomorrow after administrative council meeting, we're meeting with the principals, then we have a meeting with all of our support staff. This way they can help us also plan for next year. Go ahead.
Can you remind me, I know we talked about it, but I forget, so that was the K-5, so for now with the sixth graders in Macabin, what the plan is for support with the counselors and things there?
Yes, so we actually already started that planning pretty aggressively, so I already met with the counselors at the middle school as well as our child study team, and that we are going to be moving a child study team social worker to the middle school. That will be we're hoping to be in an upcoming agenda. That social worker who we're planning to move, we've had the conversation with her, so she will be a part of the next meeting, which is running, I think, next week, where we talk about what that's gonna look like. But we definitely feel like we can service now all the students more efficiently by just restructuring our resources.
Okay. Thank you.
And, sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, go ahead.
I just had a question about going back to report cards. Since you are revamping them, it sounds like, Dan, is there any discussions of doing trimesters for the elementary schools?
There is discussion.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When we first revised our report card to look a little bit more standards-based
I
about
was gonna ask that next.
2015, we did that. And we talked about trimesters then, when we were shifting toward a greater presence of Fontes and Pinnell. But that has come up again now that we're going back, now that we're looking at a K-5. We're discussing it. I'm not sure if we're there yet. We're looking at a number of different types of report cards to look at. I'll have all that information at Education Committee
That'd be great.
in February.
Yeah, I think elementary teachers would find it so helpful to do trimesters, especially in the September time, because they're typically getting to know their students, doing a ton of diagnostics, running records, and to have that extra time to then be able to say to parents exactly what's happening, it just makes it a whole heck of a lot easier for them.
I just wanted to follow up on the child study social worker that's moving to Macabin is going to be working with both gen ed and special ed?
Yes, correct. I should have also said that, yeah. So what we've been talking about right now is just, so that person will still be a child study team social worker, but what the plan, because they obviously are not a school counselor. But what we are doing is we met with the counseling department at the middle school to determine what are things that a school social worker could do to help support those students. So that's some of the things that we've talked about. They could still meet about attendance. They could still meet to find students that are at risk. They can still do screeners for them. So there's a lot that they can do on that side. And they can also service a student that comes down because they're upset about something that happened in class. They can counsel students. So we talked about what that role is going to look like. The plan is that the child study team role, that person will have a reduced caseload
Okay.
so that they can service the whatever other things come up at the building level. But yeah, so they will be a support for both.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
But they're not gonna have a caseload of gen ed kids, they're just gonna assist the counselors that are already there with these types of things, screenings, at-risk things.
Yes, they're not gonna
Yeah.
have a caseload, the same way
Okay.
like the two counselors that are there, or whatever counselors are there, will be the ones that have become the school counselor.
Okay.
But they will, like, let's say that they start working with a family, right, and a student, they can continue to counsel that student, even though the student may be a general education student. Same way that our elementary social workers right now sometimes service students that have special needs, even though they're a gen ed social worker, so we view it the same way.
Anyone else? Okay. Mrs. Francisco?
Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. Our annual audit, Mr. Ferry and Mr. Cleary are here to present the annual audit. I believe everyone received a copy of the CAFR and the management report over the last week. So, they will respond to any of your questions after their.
You can look on with me.
All right, thank you for having us. So there's two documents that you received. One is the CAFRA, which is the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. That's the one with all the financial information in it. The smaller one is the management report, which I like to call the report card because it has our comments and recommendations, if there are any. So as you can see, the CAFRA is in a very complex document. It's got 3 different fund balances in because that's the way the state of New Jersey wants it. I don't make this stuff up. The one schedule that I always go over with every board is Exhibit C1. Exhibit C1 is the budget as presented to the board that you voted on, and it's under the budgetary basis of accounting, which means that it's not skewed by any GAAP adjustments, generally accepted accounting principle adjustments. The fund balance that's used in Exhibit C1 is the fund balance you use in the following years to balance your budget. It's the document that Barbara will use to balance, to use for the budget coming up. It's a very long schedule. It's a couple pages long. It starts off with your budget, your modified budget, revenues and expenditures, and then if it's a revenue, how much you realized in revenues. If it's taxes, how much you received in taxes. And then on the expenditure side, it's your expenditures plus encumbrances or purchase orders. And then you come up with a fund balance. Every year, and actually it started here a few years ago, I get the question saying, Tom, it's only 1 year. I like to see what happened last year. So I said, well, you would have to bring both your audit reports. If you want to see 3 years, you'd have to bring 3 reports. So what I started doing is putting together a schedule, and it started last year. So what I have is a generalization of your Exhibit C1, so you can compare it. I have 3 years this year. I have the snapshot as of June 30th of 17, 18, and 19. And then what I did is for you, I compared 18 with 19. So we're going to hand these out, and I'll go through them briefly.
Thank you.
I could spend 3 hours on the CAFRA if you want to. Barbara?
We saw you this year.
Okay, so on the left-hand side is 2017. And the top part is an analysis of your fund balance. So what I do, as I explain every year, your fund balance is made of different components. So if you take, let's take 2017 for instance, $8.8 million of fund balance, of which Capital reserve was 1.1 million. Maintenance reserve, $500,000. And then in 2017, you actually exceeded the 2% limitation the state puts on your fund balance, which is called excess surplus. Excess surplus has to go into the following year's budget. I like to call it as taxpayer relief because it has to go, and you have to use it as fund balance to lower the amount of taxes. And it happens to be 2 years because in 17, you're already in the 18-19 year, so it goes 2 years after. But it has to go at a minimum, that dollar amount. So that was $2 million. Coming over from previous years, you had excess surplus from previous years. That was another 2.9, almost $3 million. We had encumbrances, $732,000 at the end of 17. Those are purchase orders as of June 30th that we take aside fund balance because we know we're going to pay those expenditures in the following year. So what we do is we yank those out as encumbrances or open purchase orders. And then what you're left with is the 2% number for that particular year, which was $1.4 million. So going, if you want to look totally, the last column for 2019, it's the one just before the excess or deficit. That's the number that we have this year. So your fund balance this year was $9,165,000. Capital reserve was 1.8. Maintenance reserve was 300,000. You had excess surplus generated this year. This year, that's my year because I'm always a year behind. So in your 19 year, you had excess surplus of $1,475,000. You had $2.2 million, almost $2.5 million in excess surplus generated from the previous years that have to go to, it's going to go to the year 1920, which the year we're in right now. So we used almost $2.5 million to balance this budget that we're in right now. Your reserve for encumbrances were 1.1 million, and your 2% number for 19 was almost $1.9 million. If you want to compare 18 with 19, local sources is your tuition, your tax levy, and other local sources. $54 million was 18, $55 million was 19, so that was an increase of $1.3 million. State aid had a slight decrease of $206,000. Federal sources, you had a small increase, about $7 million. On your expenditure side, you had a decrease of $96,000 from 18 to 19. Your capital outlay expenditures increased $2.4 million. However, that was for the, Barbara, help me on this one. That was for the capital expenditures, was for the lease purchase.
Bleachers,
We
right?
did a lease purchase agreement for the bleachers.
Okay.
At McCormick Field. Right.
Okay, so you had $2.4 million on that. You had other financing sources of 1.2. That was for the capital, that was an offset to the capital leases because it's a non-budgeted expenditure. So for 2019, you actually had an excess of $219,000. You started the year with 8.9 million. You ended the year with 9,165,000. All in all, not too bad. Your 2% number went up. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, because of the increase in the things that we had there, but.
Okay.
But
But.
it's a big difference from the previous year.
There's like $1 million difference.
So what Barbara normally does is takes the excess surplus, and that's what you use to balance the next year's budget. It's planned out in advance. When we do the audit, that's the first thing she wants to know going into the following years. Because you wanna, it's was forced down our throats the first year, but now it's almost like it's accepted and we just use it to balance the following year's budgets. And hopefully we have excess because again, to have no excess surplus, that means we have to dip into your 2% number, which we really don't want to do. And put more into capital reserve and into maintenance reserves that we're allowed to do. So in a nutshell, that whole document comes down to these numbers right here. The only other thing the other thing that's in here are your trust accounts, which is your payroll, your student activity funds, the special revenue fund, which is all your grant money. So really, all you can do as a board is accept the money and expend it exactly the way the federal and state tell you to expend the money. And the other thing is the proprietary funds, which is, proprietary means that it's almost supposed to run like a business. One of the funds is the cafeteria fund. And that's on page 26, if you want to follow along. Page 26 is your balance sheet. On page 27 is your revenues. So the food service fund had $888,000 in revenues from daily sales, had $1.3 million in expenditures, including depreciation, because it is a business. It includes depreciation expense. You had an operating loss of $447,000. However, we got state aid for the free, from the free reduced paid lunches, $385,000. So you wound up with a negative $62,000, and then the budget picks up the difference, your operating budget. Now, I always say that the food service fund should run like the deli down the street. It should be self-sustaining, so we're very close. I think this is probably closest that we've gotten a long time. Actually, we ran deficits years prior, so it's actually doing pretty good. Hopefully, next year we should have, it should break even at least.
I think we're moving our sixth grade to the semester in September. I think we may see an uptick in purchase lunches there, so it's a broader, the bigger cafeteria, more options. I think they don't purchase as much at the elementary school. I think we may see more purchasing next year. At least that's our hope.
Okay. The school-age child care program is actually running a nice little profit of $92,000. So that's running okay. Besides that, besides C1 and this, that's the only thing really the board can make decisions on. So on top of, so anybody have any questions? I know it's a lot. I threw it at you really quick. So besides that, of course, we do the auditing and we come in, we do all the test work. So the level of an audit you get is a single audit. So the baseline audit is generally accepted auditing standards. That's what I like to call the foundation. That's the standard for auditing standards. So if you're IBM, Ford, Chrysler, you get generally accepted auditing standards. The second level, which you also have, which all my municipalities, school boards have, is generally accepted government auditing standards. Generally accepted government auditing standards makes us do a little more testing. They want us to look at the internal controls, the things in place to make sure that someone's checking everybody else's work and that it's government funds and state funds so that you have good internal controls. The next level is what you're also at, federal and state grants. That's a single audit. So what that means is that we pick grants and we test them for compliance. So if it's an IDEA grant, it says make sure that you have X, Y, and Z. Now, it's not the same level as if the state came in and audited your Title I, your Title II, all your titles, or IDEA, but it is very close. Normally, they audit almost close to 100% expenditures. We don't, but we do test compliance and make sure you're okay. Ryan's going to go over the one comment you had this year because of what you were kicked up to that single audit level so that we had to check compliance. So we did find a compliance error with that. I always tell my school boards and municipalities, it's not a bad thing. I said, you hire us as your auditors to make sure everything's okay. I'm like your doctor. So you go to the doctor for a checkup and you don't want him lying to you and saying, oh, you're fine. Meanwhile, your blood pressure's up here. So it's very fixable, the kind of thing that we did find. And while we do find it, by the way, Barbara is made aware of it. As soon as we find a problem or any problems, we don't wait till we get here to drop a bomb on Barbara and she falls off her chair. So she knows about it in July or August whenever we're at the school district. So that's all I really have, unless you have any questions. Ryan's going to go over the one comment, and that's it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom. So as Tom mentioned, we came in and we did a level of audit where we really get in and look at some of the state and federal programs. This year, extraordinary aid was what we consider a major program. I believe it was a little over $1.1 million in grant received and spent. The way extraordinary aid works is that certain students are determined to have special extraordinary costs, and I believe the child study team is able to compile a bunch of data and submit to the state. Here's all the costs for each of these individual students, and the state will come up with, based on a long formula, an amount of aid. I think the application goes in May, and then actually it's received in the next school year. So when we come in and take a look at that, we end up checking, I think about 85% of the students that are submitted for this type of aid, and we look at all the costs and different services that are provided to these students and make sure that they are correctly reported in the application. Through our test work, we ended up finding one situation where one of the students' aids was submitted at a dollar amount that did not agree with their employment contract. So, I mean, that's the gist of what the write-up is. It's on page 4 of the AMR, the lower report. I think the dollar amount was maybe negligible, and at the end of the day, the amount of aid received or not received could be talking about less than $100. So, but we have what's called, it's a immaterial compliance issue, and we're required to report on it.
Because we also have auditors check our stuff. So auditors have auditors. So if we had a finding in the report and we failed to put it in the audit report, we would get a finding, and that we could actually, having a finding in our audits are really devastating for us. So it's just in our work papers, and it's a required thing that we need to do.
Having one is like really good, right?
Yes.
That's pretty impressive, yeah.
Is this one mistake really just human error?
It could come down to a number of things, likely. It's possible that the teacher received an increase during the year, and maybe the prior contract was used, but that wasn't the one that was applicable at the time of the
It was
application.
extended by a few days.
Got it.
So that's why the cost difference was $306.80.
Okay.
Anyone could do it.
Yeah, it was like something that when we went back and we double checked, it was there. And we then figured out like, okay, it was an error. And it was, in our minds, a minor error, because $306 considering the full amount. But that's not to say that I think you're right about the learning. So we take from it and we say like, okay, how could we catch that amount next time? So now we're just like triple checking the contracts and what we submit.
So we find it, we move on, and then
Right,
it won't happen again.
Right.
Well, I can remember for years sitting here and having multiple things. So one, to me, says kudos to Barbara and her staff and everybody.
Absolutely,
who's putting
yes.
in. That's it. Great job.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions?
I just want to dovetail on your comments, given the size of the, organization, like $90 million something dollars, and come up with $300 something finding, towards the line, I think that's still.
It's pretty impressive, yeah.
Commendable to.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
See you in a couple months.
They become a permanent fixture, right? They
All
even
over
come back.
again. By the time they get here.
Take a
it's time
vacation
for
and
them
come
to
back.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, Barbara, we have, I need a motion for minutes. Dave?
Move the minutes of the workshop, regular meeting, December 8th, and the executive session.
Any discussion on the minutes? You weren't present for the meeting, you just abstained on the vote. December 18th, I'm trying to, for you board members, if you weren't present.
Should abstain.
But we were in the audience.
No.
Well, no, I didn't.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, that ends that. President's report. I don't have much tonight. I actually just wanted to mention, I don't know if anybody happened to see it. I know it was on Facebook, but our Highlander Pipers were at the Newton Theater with the Red Hot Chili Pipers, and it was fantastic what was on there. If you get a chance, you can maybe go on and see the art, go to West Milford Arts, and it's there, the video. It was great. It was just a great thing. We really have a remarkable group there. So if you get a chance, if you get to go to the tattoos or anything else, it's really something to see because our band is remarkable.
It's also on YouTube.
Oh, was it on YouTube too? Okay. Other than that, that's all I had under my report. Time for public comment. This portion of the meeting is open to the members of the public for the purpose of addressing resolutions on this agenda. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All members of the public speaking during this public comment are asked to address topics listed in the agenda. All speakers are asked to sign the register provided and to give their full name, spell their last name, group affiliation, if appropriate.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Provide their address. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged. The board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Anyone wishing to speak?
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We need we have a hand carry for the motions for personnel. 24 and 25, everybody has to be present. So we need a motion for the agenda with the hand carry.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda with the hand carry for personnel.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, education, Mrs. Dwyer.
I move to approve agenda items 1 through 4, and 5 will be voted on after executive session.
Second.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion on the items?
I'd like to say one more time, having the tuition at the Highlander Academy, that's that one, right? Yes. Awesome job. That's perfect. Just want to say it one more time.
I have to give it to the staff there, so I'll just pass it back over to them. But thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. And that will be for executive session. Personnel, Mrs. Fritz?
We don't have to vote separately, we can do them all together, right? Okay. Okay. I'd like to move items 1 through 23 and hand carry items 24 and 25 under personnel.
Second. Any discussion on the items on the agenda? If not, Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
I abstain on number 6, and yes to the rest. Operations and Finance, Mr. Corina?
You ready, people?
Oh, jeez. They're all separate.
Items 1 and 2.
Second.
Discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item number 3 under Ops and Finance.
Second. Discussion? If not, Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item number 4 under Ops and Finance.
Second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item number 5 under Operations and Finance.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Guarino?
Abstain.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Abstain.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Abstain?
Okay, we'll just pass that one. Move item number 6 under Operations and Finance.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
Move item number 7 under Operations and Finance.
Second.
Discussion? If not, Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item number 8 under Operations and Finance.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item number 9 under Operations and Finance.
Second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Mrs. Romeo? Policy?
I'd like to move number 1 under policy.
Second.
Discussion? If not,
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
yes. Committee reports, Parks and Rec, anything? No report?
No meeting.
Do you have one coming up, or?
We don't know yet.
Okay. The safety, there'll be a meeting this Friday at the library. And superintendent's roundtable.
I'll do it. I don't think Terry was at that one from December, right? Okay, right. Couple items, we addressed one or two tonight, but a couple things about the snow routes, just some clarification, question to better communication to parents around what the snow routes are. There seems to be a little bit of confusion around that. There was something, discussion around the timing of the Linkit fingertip reports, which Mr. Novak addressed this evening. We talked a little bit about security in regards to how consistent and uniform the practices are throughout the district. Understanding that buildings are different, we discussed that a little bit, but obviously try to make as consistent as possible. There was a follow-up conversation from Dr. McQuaid around snacks and food in the classroom. Snack lists with approved items are out there, and that we continue to avoid food and sweet items in the classroom. Conversation around the district website, that's part of our branding efforts that we'll be looking at this year, so hopefully there'll be some changes coming around that. And we didn't talk about the 6th grade because the decision had been made at that point. The next meeting is this Thursday.
Just to follow up, we are looking at the bus forums for next year. To update what Ms. Fritz was saying is on the bus report now, it has your regular route, then underneath it has your snow route. But if you don't have a snow route, it doesn't say anything. So next year, we're going to include a snow route for everybody, even if it's your regular stop. It'll just be in their 2 spots, so there's no confusion, and everybody will have a snow route. Whether it's a snow route or not, it'll be on your bus pass for August.
Good.
Passaic County School Board hasn't met, their meeting in February the 13th.
The 13th.
Yeah, I think it's a Thursday, it's not a Monday. If anybody's interested in going, you should have gotten an email, but you're welcome to go. I think it's cool. It's a Thursday. Yeah, I'll put, okay. But if anybody else is interested, it's going to be at the Barnyard.
When is it? When?
February 13th, it's a Thursday, I think.
What time of day is that?
It's 6 o'clock, I think.
It's a nice.
Where's the
Get
barnyard?
good food there too.
Totowa or something? Wayne?
It's really total, it's up there.
It's Totowa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where the golf course is,
It's right on the border.
Yeah.
Totowa and Wayne.
Yeah.
It's next to Dave
Yeah,
Mann.
it's by Day Mansion.
It's like
Okay.
Tides. It's a good place.
New Jersey School Boards, we had Kathy Holloway here for the ethics presentation. Legislative.
Oh, I can't do it that
Okay,
night.
actually, the legislative session closed in January, so there's like 150 different bills and everything passed through the governor's desk, some signed, unsigned. 2 unsigned relating to us. One was the depression screenings, that's 2835 and 83926. For some reason, the governor did not sign that for having depression screenings for students grades 7 through 12. The other one not signed by the governor was S4289. That would have lifted the 2% cap. Kind of mixed feelings on that, and some districts make good, some feelings it's just opening up the floodgates. But was not signed, so the cap still remains. Bills that were signed, A4147/S2744. Require school districts and non-public schools conduct audit of security features in buildings and grounds communication systems, submit to the New Jersey Office of Security, Homeland Security and Preparedness and Department of Education. That's increasing a little bit. A4150/S2742 requires meeting between student and appropriate school personnel after multiple suspensions or proposed expulsion from public schools to identify behavior or health difficulties. A4151, S2745 requires school security training for persons employed by public and non-public schools in a substitute capacity or for employees and volunteers of youth programs operated in school buildings. S4141A/A6B11, seizure actions plan entitled Paul's Law, authorize parent, guardians, or trustees of an individualized health care plan for a student with epilepsy or seizure disorders. S2443, A4754, heat and humidity policy. Schools have to have a policy for practice during periods of high heat and humidity. Emergency action plans, S2494, A47.3. Schools must have a policy, an emergency action plan responding to a serious, potentially life-threatening sports-related injury. And then A4710, S3258, strengthening gifted and talented education, outlining school district responsibilities in educating gifted and talented students. Last two will take, actually the last three are for the 2021 school year.
Thank you. Technology.
So we didn't have a meeting, but I think that in February we're going to get together. I do know that one good thing from a technology perspective is after a gentle nudge from Barbara and Robert, Easter Datacom installed some equipment in Marshall Hill, Maple Road, and Apshaw. And I think
More bars.
for the most part, that's working well, and the idea was to give self-service in some of those areas we didn't have cell service, so now we can use the system that we put in place for security more properly in case it's ever needed. So hopefully it's never needed, but none of those teachers can use that.
Township and Board of Ed Joint Committee.
Haven't had a meeting.
We have one scheduled.
We're meeting Monday.
Monday.
CASA.
So it's no longer called CASA. It's now called the West Milford Municipal Alliance.
No, it was always, wasn't it always West Milford?
West Milford what?
And then it has.
It's the West Milford Municipal Alliance. I have to say, I'm so, yeah. I'm really grateful that I was put on this committee. I felt like such hometown pride being in that meeting. I feel like Kathy McCrew is just awesome, and they're doing so many great programs for our town and for our youth. One of them, as many of you probably know, the REAL program for 5th and 6th grade. It will be changed to LEAD next year. They're also doing some great programs for some of the older kids. One is called DIRT, which sounded awesome for the high school students. Maybe you could talk more about that.
DIRT is an assembly, and I'm hoping to hear the student representative talk about it after it happens.
Yeah, it sounds
But it's a
really
great assembly. That'll be at our high school.
Is that an acronym for something?
It's not.
Okay.
DIRT,
No.
D-I-R-T,
DIRT, it's
DIRT.
the name of, it's a one-man presentation. It's
Around
no
substance
district.
awareness and things like that, or?
No, it's around a little bit of everything. He's an actor.
It's going to be at the high school?
Uh-huh.
Is
For
it during the school day?
for our high school students during the day, yes, an assembly.
When is it
Yes.
supposed to be? Or you don't?
April 3rd.
He's an actor and he takes the seat and acts out different high school students. And so he hits numerous different ways
Got it.
of, it would be.
Issues that they would
It would
face.
be hard to.
Sounds really good.
Amazing. Like, I would think, if I were in a
You
teacher,
did
I'd
go
be
go
going
and
to
see a couple days.
It sounds really great. Sounds really great.
It's for the whole school, all grades?
High school, I think. High school.
Well, yeah, 9 through 12, yeah.
They also talked about other programs that they have coming up. They'd like to do a recognition dinner for some of the committee members and students. They talked about some things that they want to do coming up, but they're just in the works, so I don't want to say anything too much about them. But just really, I was so impressed with this woman and how packed that room was with everybody from everywhere, it was like a police officer and people from the township and, people from the women from the family. I forget the whole.
Center.
Yes,
Homes.
yes, like such great people together and such great programs for our town and for our youth.
Two things that happened also were the pharmacist at ShopRite is also lives in West Milford. His name is, I believe you say his last name, Chris High, and he gave a presentation. He's doing something at the pharmacy at ShopRite called 20 for 20. So it's 20 minutes for $20 for anyone that needs to or wants to quit smoking. Or for families who have someone that they want to help quit smoking, they can go and meet with him, and he gave out a flyer. But it was really great and just great program. And the last thing for CASA is February 10th at 7 p.m. Everyone's invited. They're having a presentation to be determined where yet. But Rutgers graduate students are doing a presentation on opioid addiction. And so they're creating a flyer and inviting everyone in the community, parents, students, educators.
They also talked about doing a vaping program at Highlander Academy called Don't Get Vaped In.
Okay.
That's it.
Sounds like it was a very productive meeting. Time for old business. Anyone have any old business?
Motion to close old business.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? New business, budget discussion. Anyone have anything in the budget book that they want
Want to start this, or anybody can join in?
I could just say, everybody received the budget book, even those of you that don't necessarily, are more technology inclined to use your technology. Basically, it was a rough draft of all the expenditures that were asked for by the administrative staff. It's by no means what the administration is requesting. There's going to be changes as I continue to go through the budget. I see things that have to be tweaked. Feel free to ask any questions, and I want you to be totally comfortable with some of the things that, the things that you see in there. I don't want you to think that, your voice doesn't need to be heard. As far as the revenues go, that's still in the process of being formulated. As you can see, we lost over $1 million in excess fund balance that is used to support this year's budget. And we're expecting a state aid reduction of $1.5 million. So if we rolled all of our expenses from last year into this year, we'd be $2.5 million in less in revenue that we have to support that. And 2% on our tax levy is $1.1 million, roughly. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We have a meeting in March. The first meeting in March is dedicated to a presentation on the budget, and we have to approve the tentative budget that needs to be sent down to the county at that point in time. Then you have 6 weeks from that point in time to continue to review and tweak. So in the past couple of years, what we've done is we've allowed the budget to go down to the county office with larger than a 2% increase in the tax levy. And we've been able to tweak it because we know more numbers. The biggest unknown I think that we have right now is where our health benefits are going to come in because of some of the changes and because of our claims experience. We've been lucky the last couple of years. I budgeted 8%, or last year I budgeted 5%, and came in just a touch under 5%. So we do have a little bit of cushion in the current year's budget in our health benefits. but that's a big expenditure, so that we have to make sure that we don't go into a deficit. Because we've been fortunate to have a healthy fund balance at the end of the school year, excess fund balance. But as the state aid continues to get cut, that number is going to continue, that's going to shrink too. So we have a lot of questions among ourselves as we look through this thing, because until you see the whole thing pulled together, and you start to go through the next 3 months and question some of the things that were asked for, some of the things that are in there. But we also want you to feel comfortable asking us any questions. And also, if you want to come into the office and go over it with Dr. Anamone or myself, we're always accessible to that.
Can I just say, I've never seen anything like this, and it's impressive. I was so impressed. I feel like we're in such good hands with Barbara, and just like kudos to her for everything that she's done to put this together for us. I just wanted to say that because I was really impressed by it.
Thank you.
I just have a question about the PCTI tuition.
Yeah.
What is the tuition per student at PCTI?
I believe it's $11,000 and change.
Okay.
And let me tell you where we are with that, because I fight with them every year.
The number of students that's in,
I know
that's
that.
in disagreement.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seven
The
students.
tuition is $11,962 for our general education
I'm
population.
sorry, what was that?
It's right in there, it's $11,962. So, and basically PCTI sends us a report telling us how many people they want us to budget for. And I fight with them every year because they put a higher number than what I feel is justified. So,
So when we pay that extra money for those extra students who may not attend, do we get that money back?
we get it back 2 years later.
They can spend it on our account. in 2
Which is
years.
why I fight with them, because I don't feel that we should
That's not
put
fair
out
for 2
additional
years.
money. I
Yeah.
can understand that there might be, a difference of a few kids, but in this particular year, they're trying to bill us for 7 more students, and
Can we not pay for 7?
no, you can't.
So I know that the students have to put in, I think it was before like October, November timeframe. When does that get confirmed that they're in? Like,
Until spring.
Not until spring,
so
but you have
too late
people
for us.
accepted, say they're going in April,
And then
May,
don't go.
and then have a change of heart in August, so there's always TCTI might look at our number of applicants and say, they're all going to PCTI, and we know you're graduating this many. We're saying, historically, we've always had students get
Fall
in
off.
and decide not to go, so we think our number is more accurate than their number.
Last
We'll figure it
year,
out.
I put in for 80, and they argued with me because they wanted 85.
We have to pay
So,
$80,000 a year.
Rather than go
Every
and get the
student.
county in the middle of it, we
Seven
decided
students.
we would compromise, and we did 82, and we
Shame.
had 77 go.
So we're 5 students over.
Right, so
That's a
we'll
good
get a
spot.
credit in 2 years.
Next year.
For last year.
What? Why 2 years? Why 2 years?
Because that's the law.
That's
If you have a tuition adjustment for any school district, you have 2 years to settle that account.
So in reading what you put in here, are we going to appeal to the county that on
Yeah.
those, I mean, on that alone, we should be
We
able
put in
to?
85, they feel that they should have 92.
And our enrollment's down, so.
I know that the business administrator, PCTI, has already spoken to the county BA, and I said, go right ahead. He said he's gonna crunch the numbers. I think that it's gonna be okay like this.
Okay.
And we have the tuition adjustment that's gonna go in there, so that total amount will be reduced because we do have a tuition adjustment that's applicable.
I think what has happened in the past, as we're getting started in the budget process, if there's things that you have, ideas that you have about maybe something that would be a cut or, way of saving money, if you call Barbara, or if you want to meet with her, that's great. Her and Dr. Anamone, their doors are open, especially on the budget or phone. You can give a phone call, and, you know, I think that's kind of how we addressed it until we get to that point where we start our budget meetings, and then you usually give us kind of a breakdown, other than the book, saying where we are with some things and what we're looking at and what might be on the table, you know, and how we have to look at it and where the impact is as far as the tax levy and everything.
The PCTI enrollment, it's a monthly basis, so if somebody would transfer back in October, we would only pay for September, we wouldn't pay for October through June, we pay every month.
So you have to pay.
Right.
You have to pay.
We have to pay for
Well, we
the
get
whole year?
credit.
We
We get a credit for a portion of that year,
But not for 2 years. So if we're committed for 80 students, then we have to pay for those 80 students.
Their budget.
Any
amount.
credit
Can't
comes
charge
back to
them
us.
interest for the money they owe us.
Now you're talking.
No. But
Well, you would be paying it.
And that 11,000 is per year, right?
And 5 years ago, 2 years ago, we had half the amount of students going there, but because they built the new building, they've increased the number of students that they accept. So that's where the disparity is coming in.
And it's in no way a negative to PCTI, it's just
No,
that to take our
definitely not.
dollars ahead, you know, we don't have that luxury, so.
And we also pay taxes that go to PCTI.
The unfortunate part of this is not at the county level, it's at the state level, because the state representatives have never allowed us to count the number of students that go down to PCTI in our enrollment count.
And they should be in our.
So we're not getting any credit for the students that are going, and the taxpayers are paying the tuition that for those students.
So could you imagine, we have like 80 kids that are off of our, you know, and we would have 80 more on our enrollment, because we have to pay that send to tuition. But we're not getting credit for them from the state, so the state's gonna take even more state funding from us, because our enrollment is down, which is not true.
That's only.
That's political.
Well, it's been that
Not
way.
meant to be, but.
It's been that way for probably forever.
Okay, you had something?
Yeah, I'd gone through the budget a bit over the weekend, and, basically, it looks good. There's no, outside of, let's say, salaries and benefits, there's no big increases or anything. In fact, I think there's decreases. And again, with salaries and benefits, you want quality staff, you have to pay them well and provide them good benefits. So, that's kind of almost like a fixed cost as I see it. Regarding a state aid, is there any thoughts, plans on kind of, I know you can't budget for it, but appealing and so forth, fighting it, and any?
There are some lawsuits, I believe, in Central Jersey, right? South River is involved. Freehold Township, Freehold Regional perhaps.
Okay.
So there's a lot going on with that. I don't know how successful it will be, but it is forcing the issue into the public light. Because we still don't have the formula. We know the number we get, we don't know the formula how we get there.
That's actually what they're suing for, is the formula.
They're suing, it's an open request to sue.
Yeah.
To know what it is, so they can plan.
Yeah, PCTI got an increase in their state aid too. So that's an even bigger problem. Yeah.
Well, it allows them to keep building buildings.
Yeah.
All vocational schools got an increase in their state funding simply because now, many years ago, they eliminated a lot of the comprehensive high schools. We're fortunate that we've been able to maintain our comprehensive high school, but they've reduced the number of offerings with comprehensive high schools because they went to technology and things like that. And now, they're finding that there's a value in that type of programs, because not everyone is academic and wants to go to college. And so now they're squeezing high schools that can't put those comprehensive high school programs back in. So it's always a double-edged sword, because the legislature talks down at everybody instead of listening to what's going on. And one of the other problems, because when I was on Board of Ed, we were faced with this, is that you can't find certified teachers to teach some of the programs anymore, because they stopped training those teachers the college level. So it becomes even more problematic for us at the local level.
I mean, culinary is one of the biggest ones, they don't offer it. So if you're not going to a VOTAC, where they have a leeway, where they can bring somebody in that is a chef and teach the course, where we don't get that leeway. What we have to do is we have to have a teacher that also is certified.
But we have an awesome culinary program.
Well, we do, because we are fortunate here, because we kept our programs going, where a lot of districts kind of, when kids started pulling away from it, that was an area that they cut, because their kids were going to VOTAC for that. And they felt that it was like a double, like you were doing double. Here in West Milford, we tried to keep the comprehensive high school, because we knew where we were, what we were drawing from. We're very fortunate in the staff that we have in that particular department, because it's very unique. Ray?
It's a couple things, but I was going to say, I know in the last couple of years, we've had students from the culinary program go and win awards, scholarships.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the woodworking program is just, I mean, the work that these kids do, you would want a piece of furniture made by these kids, and they don't have to get on a bus at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning to go down to Wayne. So it's,
There's isn't there a mechanics?
Yes, we have
like,
that.
I mean, it's awesome.
childcare, we have
Yeah,
childcare.
And if I could just mention, we have a new chief mechanic in our transportation department, and he's a West Milford person. And what he has asked Mr. Stryans to do is to identify a student that's in the automotive program and see if they would want to volunteer in the bus garage so they can learn or be part of
That's so cool.
seeing how a shop actually runs and what goes on. So we're looking into starting
That's
something
awesome.
like that.
That's so good for us.
Right?
So a couple things. One, I saw, you're adjusting and increasing for healthcare insurance. Do you feel that's enough? And do you true up like a couple times during the course of the year? I've just seen some of the healthcare expenses increase pretty sizably in certain organizations, so.
We're with the health insurance, we're fortunate that we're standalone policy, we're not part of the state. In the past few years, the state has come in higher, so there's been actually a healthcare adjustment that we put in the budget. That's not applicable this year because the state rates, for whatever reason, I think that they've made some changes in their deductibles and whatever, but we don't have a health benefit adjustment this year in the budget program. But I think that 8%, which is current, I'm hoping it doesn't come in that much.
Yeah.
But, you have issues going on at the federal government because of the Affordable Care Act, as I put in the memo. So when I got in touch with when I reached out to the risk manager last month, he said to me, Barbie, I can't even give you a ballpark right now. So I'm hoping in February, because normally we start talking in December, January, and he gives me an estimate to put in, and then he'll go back every month that we have claims experience. He has something to say, well, this is improving, so, whittle it down, and he'll fight for us. But this year, hopefully when we start discussions in February, that we'll have a better idea.
Okay. And then the second piece, again, I know this is our first go-around, right? I noticed that, so we have elementary schools now that are K through 5 instead of K through 6. And I noticed some of those budgets have gone down. But I also saw Macbeth, who's getting a grade, and I saw how they've even managed to figure out how to decrease a little bit of their budget. So, I feel like the elementary school principal did a great job the first go-around. I think that maybe there's just some more opportunity there.
I'm going through all of
Still
this
some more.
supply requests.
This is the largest budget, it will get smaller from here. How much smaller is something we have to work out? figure out what the tax levy will be, and then obviously our state aid numbers come in. It'll give us a little bit more perspective. The state aid should be here late February, probably President's weekend, that week, this week, is maybe Thursday after President's Day, I think. Fingers crossed.
Didn't we get it like, right after our meeting last February or something?
No, I think it's the following week, I think it's the last week,
Yeah.
which would be,
It was after our.
It was after our
meeting.
February
It was after our meeting last week.
So, again, like, I just look at McApit and I see how they managed to get that down. You know, and I think that maybe there's some opportunity. And then, of course, I know great technology is gonna play a big role in 2020, and there's some things that we wanna do there, which,
there's some things that.
there's some costs, but there also could be some savings in other areas.
It's in the budget.
Yep.
We covered the system that's in the budget now,
Yeah.
which,
Has been put off for a very, very,
A
very,
long, long
very,
time.
very long
Started out
time.
there last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
At least the conversation.
Yeah,
And we're duct taping
talking about
telephone
the last-
systems together.
I call you on my cell phone, right?
Yeah.
It's good. You know, we just recently had a problem in actual school that probably took about, what, 3 or 4 days to
Yeah.
solve?
Yeah.
Yeah, the equipment's so old, it's hard to
Because
replace.
there's no parts for those
So,
phones
they're,
anymore.
they have to wait.
So there are some initiatives that we're looking to do, and the question is going to be whether or not we're going to be able to keep them there or not, or whether we're going to have to kick that can down the road one more time.
Can I just mention one other thing that stood out to me too? I like you very much, Mr. Andy. But the lawyer fees are a lot.
Well, interestingly enough, for a district of our size, and us
It's not?
comparatively
Okay.
speaking, it's not, but
I like you very much.
One.
Like you very much, but
we have some major remediation going on down.
I know.
And one thing that we've had some environmental attorney costs over the last few years that I don't believe we're gonna need now, so, I planned on reducing that number a little bit, because we still have things that are gonna need to be reviewed, but probably not to the same extent that we needed them last year and the year before, when we were in the middle of, a major.
And we did come down in legal fees from the year before because we changed.
It seemed that those are a deduction, I think, a reduction in audit costs for some extent, or under audit and legal. It seemed to have gone down a little bit. Yeah, how much, like
Well,
32,000?
it's offset by the
30-something.
food service.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, okay.
Is that what you're really
Any other discussion?
And one thing, that's an administrative cost, which we try to keep at the same level that's.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know. I like him very much. Don't get me wrong.
Well, the good thing is we don't have
It's
any
not just him, though.
negotiations this
I'm gonna have to
year.
make him cookies now. Just
We
saying.
don't have any negotiations this year,
That was a
so.
large part of this year, probably.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
there
negotiated
was
with
a
a lot
lot.
of bargaining units all at once, and then now we did a little break.
Yeah.
Does that cover like litigation
One year.
purposes and stuff too, that number, or is that separate? Like any litigation or any of that kind of stuff, is that separate or?
Yeah, there's separate, separate lines.
Well, agreed with, you know, if we are looking at legal fees, board meetings, if that's what we're paying, you know, maybe workshop meetings, we can look to not have legal advice at workshop meetings or something. That's something
We like you
we
very
can
much.
talk about.
You gotta have.
I mean,
Other districts don't have it, many
well,
of them.
we tend to usually have one meeting a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 this month, I guess.
January, February, and March are our budget time,
Right.
where things are, you know, we need those extra meetings. Some of those meetings are specifically for the budget. I guess that's a discussion that can be had. I myself prefer to have our attorney present. That's my, because we can never plan for what's going to happen at the meeting. I do know districts who don't have an attorney present, and I do know how they go. Some of their meetings can
It'd be
be really.
expensive in the long run without the
They wind
attorney.
up being another issue.
And we've
But
had
that-
many times where things come up that we wouldn't anticipate that Andy's been able to, or whoever has sat there has been able to help answer and clarify.
It depends on the community.
Any other budget conversations? If not, anybody have anything else under new business?
If not, I move to close new business.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
For the second public comment, I'm not going to read the same statement again. The main part of the statement is that you can speak on anything, not just the agenda items. If anybody's wishing to speak, please read what it says on the agenda. I mind reading it once, but I'm then
See,
getting...
Linda, you could do his job. That's awesome.
So, if anybody would like to speak under public comment tonight?
Seeing none, I move to close public
I'll
comment.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Terry, we need a motion for executive session.
Okay, 8:31, I make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel appointments, resignations, current litigation matters, special education matters, negotiations, HIBs, and matters of attorney-client privilege.
Second.
For 30 minutes. And action will be taken after that.
The second page.
The executive session, you have to read
I never read that.
Yeah.
The executive session minutes will not be released until such time as the privilege or confidentiality is no longer applicable.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We will be returning to action. Order. Barbara, roll call, please. Mrs. Romeo?
Yes, here.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Here.
Mr. Stillman? Here. Mrs. Dwyer? Here. Mrs. Fritz?
Here.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes, here.
Mr. Osinski?
Here.
Mr. Conlon? Here.
Did he say yes here? Did he?
We'll get another pair.
Oh, God.
Sorry?
Okay, I move to accept the recommendation of the superintendent to approve the following HIBs. 2020 E7 as substantiated, 2020 E8 as substantiated.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Mrs. Francisco? Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mr. Osinski?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke? Yes. Need a motion to?
8:56, I can make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, have a good.
Good night.
Have a happy Valentine's Day.
We're not going to see each other now.